So we're getting there, aren't we now? We're heading towards that home straight. You know, I'm going to sprint finish. There's a few things we've got to do. I think we're going to do another 2, maybe 3 weeks on this. But let's see where we're up to with our visualizations and making everything look nice and pretty. Alright everyone, welcome along. Weekend work, isn't it? Let's have a look at where we've got up to with the work we've gone through with our report packs, with moving this on, with carrying on and making sure we've got with development working well. Right? We've gone through, we've done all our events, or our consultancy piece, we've built our data flows, we've got it all starting to replicate and run through, we've done our validations, we've started our visualizations, yeah? So last week we touched on kind of the historic piece where you look at what you've got originally, if you've got anything, or you do the old fashioned, you might look at like a whiteboard diagram that you've done. The amount of times I've done, we start, right, we're going to have this, right? And we're going through and we're talking out and we decide this is what we want to do, this is what we didn't want to do, okay? And it all works, it's a good. The main thing here is you need to get your plans and you need to be thinking through in terms of what pages do I need? And then not just what pages, but what visuals on the page we're going to need. Because what you don't want to do is to have really cluttered pages, okay? The nice thing that Power BI does, and this is one of the things that you need to, when you start to move towards like a Power BI mindset that we're, Power BI, it's less is more, right? And I mean, even at the weekend, I got contacted by somebody and said, oh, I've got like this, I've got this 23-page report and I need to do it. And I went, tell you what, son, right? Delete 20 pages of that because people didn't look at a 20-page report. I'll tell you that for free. If you are producing a report which is more than 3 pages long, right, most of it isn't being checked out, right? It might be looked at once, maybe twice when you first set it up, but by week 3, nah, no one's checking it, man. They'll check the top ones because the boss is checking them ones, like, and if I didn't get that right, the boss is gonna go mental. Okay, so why would I want to spend my time and effort building report pages that aren't going to be looked at? It's that simple. Okay, this is where the power of Power BI comes in. Okay, so you'll hear me keep talking it, and we'll come back. We keep reiterating about it. What you need to be thinking about is multiple reports running on the same model, and them reports be focused at a particular person or a particular group. So you might have your management SKU, you might have your sales SKU, you might have your warehouse SKU, but because it's all at the same, on the same data model, everybody is looking at the same data. Everyone's looking at the same numbers. So your management's got confidence that, well, what's going to warehousing is what the warehousing team need. Is blah, 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 blah. I can get my top level summary, right? And likewise for your sales teams and for everyone else. Okay, so it's getting to that mindset. When you start to jam everything into it, you get the bad behaviour start to creep in. So number one, the worst thing is you've got management looking at operational data, right? Because management operational data is just like, it's a recipe for chasing your tail and it destroys businesses. Yeah, Ross, man, you're being dramatic. Destroys businesses? How is that going to destroy a business if my senior leadership team can see what's happening on the ground in the warehouse? I'll tell you, those 2 orders that you didn't ship yesterday because they weren't quite ready on time and missed the postage, which will happen, right? Nothing, no big, right, hooplas about it. They're still going to arrive on time. Everything's fine. Suddenly becomes, orders were missed yesterday. What are we going to do about it? Okay, and management getting focused on things like that doesn't actually help. What you want to be saying is, generally, orders ship on time. Every now and again, 1 or 2 orders may miss, and that's the reality of it. The fix for it would be ABC. There is a cost for it. It will be XYZ, right? So it might be a case of saying we sometimes miss orders and it's because the box packaging machine or the taping gun, something like that, runs out of stock, right? Or is stuck or gets stuck. So the fix might be, we'll replace the taping machine, which might be a case going, all right, simple, right? Well, that's 20 grand. What's the cost of our lost order, of our orders shipping a day late? A couple of quid. So you get into that whole evaluation piece. Is it actually worth it? Is it not worth it? But you'll get somebody on high, oh, not good enough, our customer, right? Without being fully aware. And suddenly you're going around doing this whole check and right? We know, everyone knows, and it's make work, right? So you get to that whole make work point, okay? And that's a real bugbear of mine. Management make work, I don't like it, okay? The value add comes when you start to look and you're saying, right, from the warehousing team, we've got an ongoing problem that we're not able to ship 20% of our orders because the tape machine is not reliable enough and it causes them to slip, which causes delays and knock-on impacts on future days. So it's a strategic question then. At that point, it's worth engaging with the management. What's the value of the strategic issue? So replacing the taping machine, getting a second, getting a new one, doing something else. What are those options available to us? It becomes a more structured view, okay? We are now proactively discussing something. It might be about an issue that's happening, but we're discussing the solutions as opposed to being, no, 2 orders did not ship, it's not good enough, oh, right? Gordon's alive. So if you remember them ones there, right? So it goes on like that, and it's important to think through. Get the right report to the right person. So think through your number of pages. Remember that. The visuals, don't be afraid, sketch them out. Less is more with Power BI. So Power BI will load visuals. This is something you probably won't see often. It's 4 at a time, okay? Will be processed by the DAX engine. So, or the visualization layer engine. So if you've got more than 4 visuals, well, for every 4 visuals on a page, that's 1 round of them. So when you get to the point where you got, oh, I've got my dashboard pages, great, I've got like 100 visuals on here, right? That's a cost. That's 25 cycles that are going to have to be. That page is inherently going to be slow. If you're going through and saying, well, we combine the visuals, do that, like, you know, combo charts, all those kind of things, where you've got lots of them coming through as a single visual, so a single set of DAX statements, it's more efficient. So thinking through and saying, right, well, we want this visual to focus around here. So you kind of get to this point where there's 10, 15 or so visual elements on a page in practice, right? Between 10 and 20. You're going to go, they don't all multiply by 4. Okay, so 16 is a max. How about that? 16 to 20. Does that help? Right? But you get the point. And then lastly, once you've kind of understood that, well, what DAX are we going to need for it? And I'll guarantee you, yeah, don't be afraid to use external sources. And secondly, don't be afraid to come back and write more DAX because what you originally thought wasn't all you needed. It happens, right? So that's fine. So what should we have a look at today? Yeah, let's cut on our Power BI desktop and see what I've prepared for you today. We've made some changes, haven't we? It's definitely got bigger than where it was last week. Okay, one of the things I've done is a few things that I've started to experiment with and look at and think. And this is normal. This is where you go, oh, does this work? Is this what I want to do? Is this not what I want to do? So what I've put in first is I've put in the slicer panel, which I said I was going to do. Still needs some things. I think we need to put a label on there and stuff like that just to kind of make it look a bit better and to lead people in the right direction. So how does it work? So control, V, comes up. Okay, what I've done as well is I've put in our DumpFilters measure there for it. So we're seeing now no filters, right? But if I picked veteran, see it says age grouping, veteran. If we pick a range of them, it'll tell you this is what they've selected as well. So for me, when I'm using this report, I can now see what filters I am applying. So for I don't know what I'm doing, comes through and says, all right, these are the filters that I've applied to this report pack. Great. Okay. Well, they can see anyway, but it's useful to be able to see how your filters are stacking up and comparing. There are issues around this in terms of if it gets too many, is it going to work? So we'll have to check. But all I've done at this point is I've put in like groupings, the age groups and the And even here, I'm thinking I might need to tweak this around. I think I need to take, it's all too big. So I'll probably rejig that bit as well, just to make it look a little bit better. But you can see we're starting to piece together the layers, right? And this is why this is going to take the 3 weeks of a sessions, because this is often the bit that can just, it sucks up time, right? And it'll suck up the time that you're spending on consultancy or that you've got your development teams doing internally. Either way, so much time gets sucked up with the build process and just going, I don't know if I like that. It doesn't quite do what I wanted it to do. So be prepared to have some hard discussions at this point, okay? But the slicer panel, I think it works pretty well. So how do we do a slicer panel? What you've got to show is the bookmarks and the selections. And what you'll see is I've created 2 bookmarks. So we've got the fly out, which is like it's clicked, where we've got the panel coming out, the content on the panel, and another arrow, and we've got the hidden, where the panel is actually, it's the same panel. I've just changed the size of it. No, it isn't actually, it's a copy. I'm telling a lie, it's a copy. So you can build these up and create a group is what you could do, and that's the recommended way, is to build up a group for it. You can build the group up in another page, copy and paste it, and then use that, okay? What I've done for these elements though, and it's just then a case of using the little eyeball here, clicking it and to hide it or show it, and then updating the bookmarks. So if I click on here and shift me features out the way, you can see you've got like update, which is what you need to do. You can rename, delete. But what you can also do down here is you're saying it's only going to be on selected visuals and it's on display. So all we want to do is change the display, and we just want these visuals to be affected by the bookmark, is what is effectively what we're saying. So what it means is that if I've selected anything, so if I come in here and I pick, say this, and then I come and I pick that, it's still picked. So you can see that it's event number 17 is selected. And I thought that was useful because it kind of means that if I'm not sure anything or something's not displaying correctly, I can see. Okay, so that's one way of kind of presenting that dump filters, which is, I think, useful. You know. Okay, but as I say, it's important that that slicer panel doesn't reset any other filters that people have put on the page. So in practice, not many filters on this page, we just got that. The other thing I've done, you can see I've got a link here to go to the Jesmond Dean Parkrun website. Okay, just takes you to Jesmond Dean Parkrun. Nice, simple, easy, dead good. Okay. I've put some colour coding on here as well. So you go, well, why are the parkruns different colours? Why are the events different colours? So colour is a big thing in these kind of reports and in context of this. If we get rid of these here, we can talk through it. So the colour that I've used is actually, because you've got, well, I don't see where you've got it. Looking at what you've got in your slicer, in your visualisations blade, you've got the event as the axis, we've got the registered finishers, and we've got the average age grade. So we've got, this is the registered finishers in terms of the bar or the column, right? And then we've got like the line is the average age grade, which I think is good, isn't it? You know, how fit are me participants that week? In an athletic sense, obviously, right? How fit are the participants that week? And that was one of the things I was thinking, well, you know, when we come back after lockdown, which was here, by the way, coming back after lockdown, we see really low numbers. Are people fitter, or are they, you know, have people been seriously running or doing stuff during lockdown, or is it changing? What I can see generally is there is definitely an upward trend. I think we could all agree this is trending upwards, isn't it? Which is great, fantastic, okay? Fitter people. I don't know what that means, but, you know, fitter people. What I did, though, was I've put an average in against all our events, okay? But I've not just done it like that. No, not me. So what I've done is I've actually set it on based on what you do. So if we have a look at the DAX statement for it, because it's the overall average grade. See here. Okay, so I've done an average X on the all selected events. So which events have we picked in the filter? So we're making a table of those event numbers, yeah? So it's just, here's my list of those event numbers and run the average age grade for each of those. And then give me the average of the average. Okay. So in essence, what that does, if we put it on the plot, the line values, you'll see it gives us that. So what we're saying, and remember that this is, well, it works actually, no, this is fine, doesn't it? Okay. You should see, I hope, that there's a difference. So the light green ones are the ones that are above, where it's above the average, and the dark green are where it's below. And I was trying to work out, is it greens we want? Is it something else? Again, no negativity in parkrun. So I didn't want to be like, oh, it's yellow, you guys are slow, or not so fit today, or ooh, uber fit today. Right? So we'll work out that number. We can change the colours. Right? Again, colour. I'm gonna keep saying colour to you. Right? So I've done it on that. So if it's above it, it goes one colour. If it's below, it goes another. I've done that though using a measure. So again, you can do these kind of things. So I've gone with teal and blue steel. I don't know if, you know, I was feeling like Zoolandery. You can feel something different. But essentially what this means is I can put something in, so I can go orange. Okay. And it'll turn it to orange. So there are the web colours that are available to you. You could also put in your hash colour codes. So 55, 55, 55, for example. I think that should be a grey. Okay. So that'll work. So there's different ways you can do, but this gives us the option where we've got a measure defining the colour as opposed to it being defined within something else. So you can use this to help. And then the way we've applied it, I'll just show you the way it's been applied. Let's go here, data colours, and you can see we've got a little formula there, and we're saying just do it on the event state. So the event state is looking at, if we come back to it, we can see it's gone back there. Let's make that a bit bigger. So we can see we're reading what's the overall average, what's the event average age grade, and then if it's above or it's below, do something. And again, I'm using the switch statement, not an if. Okay, switch is just, it's a little bit more efficient to do, but you can see we're doing an evaluation as opposed to it being hard values. So we can go, yeah. So we can do all sorts with this. And as I say, I really wasn't sure what the right colours to use are, and I'll probably still revisit this a couple more times and work out something sensible to put on, because I think there's bits I need to work through with it. What happens when I'm hovering? And you can see I've set something up here, and I'm kind of, is it good, is it bad, I don't know. Right? It gives a lot of information, but kind of parkrun's kind of stats heavy, isn't it? So we can see here, this is the 11th of September, it was event 30, there were 254 total participants, but only 236 registered in terms of actually will appear in our report pack. Okay, so there's a difference. Remember that people who don't get a finish time because of whatever reason, like they've forgotten their barcode, they don't bother, right? Parkrun has a policy: no barcode, no time. Well, our first finisher there, and the first male finisher and the first female finisher listed out, and I think it's important, and their time. So it's kind of gives that summary, and then we've got like a number in terms of from each age bracket, so we can see that veterans, seniors, and juniors. I think we might need to shuffle those around so they appear in a more standard layout, I think, but overall, I think that works pretty well. You can kind of go along and see what's happened. There's a couple here where we've got some finishers who, like, their names are really long, and that's led to it, like a little scroll bar appearing, and that's the bit that's causing me the most. Like, I'm not happy with it, I don't know. But we'll see. I think these are things that you can start to piece together. So, oh, how does that work? So how does that work, I hear you say? Because we didn't touch on those. We touched on drill throughs, which we've set up, remember, if we right click, we can drill through. But tooltips. So tooltips are handled here. So we've got the event tooltip and we've got the person tooltip. I'll show you the person tooltip later. It's still a work in progress, that one. What you must remember when you are doing tooltips, and you probably want to do it with drill throughs as well, is to hide the page. So right click on the tab, hide page, okay? And you see it gets a little eyeball crossed out there, right? So I'll do that for that as well now, and I'll do that for the event details, okay? Because these are pages you don't want people to just accidentally click on. Oh, what's happening here, okay? In terms of it, when you build them, there's a few things you've got to do. So with nothing selected, okay, nothing selected, when you go to the paint roller, what you'll see is you've got page information. That's the key, right? Page information, we need to tell it this is a tooltip. So you need to make sure that's on. By default, it's off. So if we were to create a new page, off. So we want to turn that on. The next thing you want to do is go to page size. And if you change this to tooltip, it makes it smaller. Okay, you might decide later you want to customize it. So you can do that. You can then make it smaller, bigger, whatever's going on with your sizing. Okay, but remember, there's not, the biggest pain point I find with these is that I can't make them, you can't dynamically size them that I can find. So if somebody knows, let us know, but I'm still going, I can't dynamic size, I can't put nice curly borders around them or anything like that. So I've seen people put borders in them and then make those curly, but then you've got like, not curly, like rounded, but then you've got like rounded borders within a square border. It just looks like different, right? So there's still some features to them. Another thing about tooltips in Power BI is they are loaded on select. They are cached, but they are loaded when needed. Okay, some platforms will pre-render all the tooltip options, which in some ways kind of limits what you can do, because if you think with hundreds of options, like your tooltips could be different. So if you think the way this works, we can come here, right, and we can see, right, 1st of February, these people, right? If I click here and I say, well, I just want to see seniors, it's going to affect everything. And I come back and look, 21st of December, you see, and it's just showing me seniors. So a pre-rendered one would be a lot more difficult to do that with, okay? So there's some things like that we need to be aware of, okay? Let's go back to here. So what we say, and this is one of those areas, is keep all filters yes or no. So we've got it as on. And if we check on our events tooltip, you'll see it's on. And that's where it will still filter it when I click to say, show just a particular age group or a particular gender or anything that we might pick. That will all be there and it will all work with it. So it's getting that balance right as to whether you want it or not. So in this case, I want it on, so it's on. What I've done here, okay, with this, and this is one of those things, this is evolving. This is something that came through probably, I want to say 18 months ago, but somebody might jump all over me. Hey, this is the updated text boxes. Okay. Now, this is a text box, and it is just insert text box. And you go, well, it's a text box. What? Big whoops. In essence, Power BI has now merged the text box and the smart narrative. Okay, they are one and the same effectively. So the smart narrative will apply a text box with some generated measures on it. Okay, but you can do it yourself is kind of the lesson I'm trying to get across here. So if we click on here and hit review, what you can see, and if you do this with a smart narrative, you need to tip this to see what it's added. So you can see I've got none automatically, but what you could do is start with a smart narrative and then add some things. So we've got this here, value 4, and I can choose to click edit, and it says it's the event date, and this is where we would say add what it is, right? So we're going to add date of event, right? So we know this is the date of the event. When you save it, it will reset everything in terms of its alignment of things. You can then change those, you can highlight them, make it bold, make it italic, do what you want with it, okay? have a different font size, even a different font. So you could build up quite a complex piece with measures within it. So you can start to do. So this is what all I've done here is I've said, well, look, I want to know the event, I want to know this, I want to know that. Okay, so we've got, effectively, remember, what did I say? 4 visuals at a time. So how many are on here? 2. So we're loading 2 visuals whenever I hover over on something. So again, we're thinking constantly through what is DAX, or how is the DAX engine going to process this page that I want to have displayed. Okay, think through. Okay, so what we'll look at next, or is the last piece, I think, is what I was going to talk about was this concept that it was important to be able to dump filters. If you remember, the dump filters is something that we've got. So we'll look at that now. So in order to do that, what you need to do is go to the external tools, go to DAX Studio, and DAX Studio will load up, connected to my model already. Okay, and at this point, so what we've got the option now is if we right click on one of these tables, you'll see we've got define dump measure for all tables or just for this one table. So what I've done for mine is I've done it for all. So you click that, it writes a whole load of DAX for you. Okay, you Control A, Control C to copy it, and then I can go back to my visual here, on my DAX, new measure. Let's expand this. Filters applied, 2 equals, paste that in, okay? And you see it's a big, long measure. There's a couple of bits we need to get rid of. So we need to start with this. We just didn't do that. Okay, and that's going to work for me. So if we close that, see it's thinking about it, it's gone, it's, yeah, well, yeah. Let's have a look here, let's go here. Applied filters, and we can put in it's not worked, has it? Oh, it's because it's a chart. Let me change it to a card. That's what it needs to be. There we go, yeah. Okay, so straight away, you see it's easy enough to put those in and it makes it work. Okay. This is a very useful thing. And what you can do is because you can do it at a table level, there might be points where you go, it's really important to have just this table listed out. And you can then build up some quite complicated ways of doing it. It's also possible to use this on the tooltips. I think now we've got the funnel, you might find, well, do I need it? So, the funnel is telling me included event 3. A lot of that at that specific level is well, you're told, but there's still a time where you might go, I don't know, I'm not sure. And it really helps to have that. So what have you reckoned then? Okay, clearly you can see the report is taking shape, right? But I've still got a lot of work to do, right? These take hours of time to do. What I touched on and we didn't get a chance to really look at, but we'll come back to it next week, is around themes and colours. So I kept mentioning colours, right? And you will have noticed that we've got colours in use in points within it. The page we didn't look at was the event specific drill through. I'll put a screenshot up of it somewhere there, right? It's got different colours again. And what we need to be starting to do is think through what's that colour usage going to do and how can we drive it and make consistency so that our customers who are looking at the report understand what they're looking at. And colour discipline is something that isn't talked about enough in Power BI. So you'll hear people talk about RAG status and things like that and making sure that they're consistent. But making sure that a particular axis or a particular group or product set or something like that has a consistent colour is just as important, because what you want is people to be looking at something, go, right, I know what I'm looking at. This is actually the seniors or female seniors or male juniors or something like that, that it becomes very clear to them that they know what they're looking at when they're looking at it. So we'll do all that. All that then, of course, needs to go into a legend, which needs to be applied, which can be a bit, some of the stuff in Power BI with legends isn't the best, I'll be honest, in terms of actually the way the colours are presented. So like the chart we've built for the events, because it's got a dynamic colour thing, it won't appear. So I'll have to do something side by side with that, and that's something we'll sort through as well. It's all about development and planning and preparation though. We need to think through, what are we going to do? So that will happen, and that's what I will be doing next. And then we'll go through and we'll talk next week about the final pieces of it and publish it up. And then we can have the week after, we'll go through and have a look at some of the nice gubbins and bits that I've put in and the secret little bits that I've had to do to make it all work. So as I say, once again, it's a great weekend coming. You know, the nights are closing in. It is starting to get a bit colder. So, you know, it might be nice to get out there, do a park run while you can. Stay safe though, take care of yourselves, you know, and make sure you look after each other. Have a great weekend. Ta-da.